All right. Clock. So we're going to start. Welcome, all of you sitting in the back. Recording, I did start recording. All right, I'd like to. What's that? I love you. Oh, Sherry is also on. Okay. I'd like to begin with the warrants. I'd like to make a motion that we accept accounts payable number 118 for $601.90. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Sherry, you're on mute.
Aye.
I think that might be the last one from last year. We started here July 1st. I'd like to move that we accept payroll number $9,190.57. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Eric, say aye.
Second.
All right. I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 10 for $3,393.57. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to move that we accept payroll number 11 for $1,213.53. Do I have a second?
Second.
Wait, all in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 12 for $52,609.06. And part of that, the 18,000 for Westport. So their machines and art. Oh, yes, it is it considered a fire truck? The one that you guys just bought? Yeah. It's still a fire truck. Wow. Okay. I'd like to move that we accept the minutes of July 27th, 2026 select board meeting. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And pretty soon you'll be able to digital sign. All right. Moving on. Citizens issues. None? Okay. Road commissioner isn't here. I suspect he's working late. So we won't do that. Any updates on committees? No. All right, we'll go right to the select board business. We're gonna work right through this pretty quickly. First thing on the select board business is Kufner Pier Ramp and Float, that we have to do an approval to. We used to have to actually go there and do a site visit, and now we don't have to do that. But we still have to accept that, and we have a seat for you right there. He left again? Okay. And this is the one that's right down your way. Yep. So I'd like to move that we accept this application for the pier. The application has been accepted. We have to do is accept the.
You're voting,
pier.
you're voting
accept it.
to issue the permit, and
Right.
then the planning board will take it up on Wednesday.
Right, we have to do one little piece and they have to do
Yeah.
the other piece. So I'd like to move that we approve the application for.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did you sign that little form? I thought I had an original, but they're all electronic, so it doesn't matter. You guys have that?
Yes, we do,
You see the little, yeah. Thank you.
but it's got an issue.
It says, yeah, I know, it's the old form, it's fine. We'll MacGyver it.
All right, next, there's also another, it's actually not a pier, it's a wharf. And we had to do, that one we had to do a site visit on. SRMS, which is actually Ted, I don't know what it stands for.
Stratford River.
Yes, there you go. They are in the process of putting down a wharf, and we had to do a site visit, so two things that we need to do here. One, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from that meeting, which was on July 29th, 2026, at 7 o'clock at the North End Road, 230 North End Road. Kim and I were there, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve those minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And because of that, we'd like to, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a license that, it's a license based on approval by the planning board as well. That, it gives them a license to construct and install a wharf. Basically what's described in the application, the sketch that goes with it. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I think it's the first time I have a word.
There's more than one wharf on land.
Is it?
Yeah, I think a wharf can be. It's like anything that's built in the water too, like on stone foundation, those piers. So we have some like little ones.
All right, next on the agenda is the Sassanova Brewery liquor license. Which is somewhere here.
Maybe.
It is here. Okay. Jeff, do you have anything to say about it before we have something to say about it?
Not much, it's the same setup that we've had since we got the restaurant license.
It's a restaurant license, right? Right.
Same thing.
Kim?
All right, so this is an opportunity for municipal review on a restaurant license, which we don't have on your brewery license. The municipality doesn't have to approve the brewery year after year. That's strictly done by the state. So anytime that a restaurant gets put in, then that does require municipal review. And part of the municipal review process is to think about all of the things associated with that business. We have had concerns about some of the things in the business, and we continue to have those concerns, even though we have projected those over the last year. We haven't seen any improvement. So we're going to take this opportunity to ask you to come back in with a site plan revision. We have some specific subjects we want you to address. And once that at least submission is put in so that you can see what your thoughts are and you're moving forward, then we can revisit this license. But at this point in time, we are not, as a municipality, willing to review or renew the liquor license as it stands right now. Eric?
Am I to understand that the select board is administering the site plan review ordinance, determining what is going to be required from the applicant?
No.
That's kind of what you just said.
So what I asked for is for them to use the site plan revision as a method for us to see what they're going to do to address the issues that we do have at the business.
So the select board will be a party to the site plan review at the planning board hearing.
Nope.
Well, explain.
So we're asking for a revision to be submitted for the town's approval. We're not gonna issue the liquor license until that submission is put in. When the submission gets put in, it goes to the planning board. They will take care of the specific items. We're just saying we're not gonna issue this license because if we do issue this license, we don't have another chance as a municipality to make a review until a year from now.
Agreed.
And that's not acceptable to us.
Well, my question is, you're indicating that there are specific concerns that you as a select board have
Yes,
that you're gonna require the applicant at Sassanua to address.
yes,
Which indicates to me that you're gonna be sending instructions down to the planning board on things that need to be included in the traditional sense of a planning board site plan review hearing. If the select board has specific concerns, you would attend that site plan review as a party and address those concerns then, as opposed to sending I'm not sure how you intend to do it, whether you intend to send Sassanua a request for site plan review, which I don't think you should be doing because it's not your responsibility or your job. That should come from the planning board. So as a board, I can see where you can deny issuing a restaurant license.
Restaurant license.
Liquor license, or whichever it happens to be,
restaurant.
because you feel that there needs to be further review. That would put the burden on the applicant to move to the planning board and say, you know, I tried to get a liquor license. They won't get it to me because, you know, they think I need site plan review. What say you?
Yep,
That's different than what you were just talking.
it's the same outcome, and that is the path that we want to have taken.
Well, it may be the same outcome, but there's a process, and the process should be followed. We have to follow processes, you have to follow processes, and it should be done properly, both sides of the fence, that we're going to take that approach.
So basically, so what we were hoping to do is that if Sassanua was willing to move forward to look at doing a site plan revision, that then we would offer to do a temporary license so that they could, as they work through the process. But you're suggesting that we can't do that, that all we can say is no. And then they would have to go somewhere else,
Well, I
to hopefully to the plan.
Sassanua has been through the site plan review process. There's an application, there's plan on file on what the planning board approved their operation to entail. If somebody in the town, including the select board, feels that those parameters that were approved at the initial site plan review are being exceeded, then there's a complaint. In your case, you have a little more power because you can say, no, you're not getting your license. Any other citizen, if somebody was living on West Shore and man, you know, there's a lot of cars going by here, you know, I don't think that was covered under that site plan. They could go to the planning board, they could come to you and say, look, you know, I don't think they're living up to their application. And that would start the process, it's the same with you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We've received complaints. The business has grown exponentially. There are way more activities going on than wherever in any of the site plans that I reviewed as I've looked through them all. You know, it started out as a farm doing sales at farmers markets. Then it was a brewery added to sell beer at farmers market. Then it was open to CSA to allow the public to come to the farm and pick up vegetables and buy beer. And those are all fine, those are all covered. Then we have the tap room that opens. Okay, the tap room opens. Then we see the increased traffic. The traffic flow in and out is exponentially higher than it has been in the past. Then we have customers that don't want to drink beer, they want to drink wine, but you can't sell wine with a tap room license. So let's get a license so we can sell wine. All right, well, that's a restaurant license. At that point in time, there is nothing that ever came back and said, hey, we're going to add food trucks, we're going to add bands, we're going to add wine, we're going to have a restaurant here. That's the issue, is that the exponential growth, which we want them to continue to grow, but we want it to be done so that the traffic is addressed, the safety issues are addressed, the sanitation is addressed. You know, they just can't keep growing exponentially without addressing some of the basic things that happen at businesses.
Sure.
And those have not been addressed in any site plan that we have on file.
Has it been requested that they address?
I believe in the beginning, when we applied for the brewery, we did say that we'd be open to the public eventually for a tasting room. And we talked about vehicle traffic, and that was all, we all went over that in the original.
Yeah, we have
Planning
the
board.
fire chief, Bob Mooney.
Yep, he came down and did a fire review.
You have gone so far beyond that in the volume of traffic that you have. So far, which is great. but it is an unsafe egress and ingress. If you have a fire there and you've got 200 people listening to bands and at the tap
We've
room,
never-
they're trying to get out while a fire truck's trying to get in. If you have a medical emergency down there, the road is too narrow. You've got the driveway that goes up right at your house, Jeff, and you know this because you drive it every day. The blind spot where your dog lays in the road is right there.
She's never there.
The kids' toys are right there.
Can-
Like,
can I-
there are so many issues with safety there.
Can I speak? My dog's never there during business hours, so.
It doesn't matter. Your dog shouldn't be laying in that spot anyway. Anybody,
It's a
anytime,
private road.
night can drive in there.
I can lay in the road if I want to. It's a private road.
Is it or is it public because you have a restaurant?
It's a private road.
No, I don't think so. Not if you're running a public restaurant.
I don't think if the town doesn't maintain it, it's a private road. It's like a driveway.
But you don't have any control over who goes in and out.
Anyone can pull into anyone's driveway.
It's true.
You know, there's long private roads that anyone can
So
drive.
do you disagree? Are you saying it's a safe place to get into?
I'm there every time of business and I've never seen any of this. And no one has any scratched their vehicle, no one's gone off the road. As far as I
So
know.
where do the complaints come from that we get?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
They're from your customers. We have complaints from your customers about that they don't feel the road is safe.
Are these complaints documented?
I believe they are.
Because I think the complaint policy is that if you ask me to go, investigate a complaint, I'm required to bring a letter of the complaint to show the person who is being complained about. So are you,
And not all of ours are written, and there are times that I come to you and they are not written.
But
If I get verbal
we
complaints,
talked
then
about
that's-
this when we got the first complaints, Jeff. We had a conversation about it.
When was
And-
this?
This was when your brewery license was getting renewed. And you agreed, and you said, yeah, we're looking at that, yes. Now, and then we got another complaint after that, so, you know, you can't disregard that there are concerns there. And we're just saying, it's time.
I believe I had a conversation with you last year as well, and we talked about the road there right by Jeff's house, and we had put up signs, there's 3 signs now, one that says slow down, kids are playing, and blind curve ahead. You know, we took steps to address your issues that you had.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but putting a sign up doesn't make it safe.
Well, what are you suggesting, blast out the road, or?
I'm suggesting maybe find a different place for people to park. Like before they go up over the hill, have them park on the right. You've got 180 acres or whatever you've got there. You can find a place for people to park safely.
I don't know if you've walked the property, but it's pretty wet.
Yeah. What? So, that's why this is a parking over the area, that they are now, because that is good drive parking.
when was the last site plan review? Do you know?
It's 2017, presumably.
So that was almost 10 years ago. Before they started.
And that was for the brewery, and then what the next event really was the tasting area expansion, and that reviewed with the select board in 2019. So we've been in operation for a year, so we're able to say, okay, now we can do this, since we came forward with that proposal.
With the select board, did you say, or the planning board?
So
Can the select board do that?
well, this is part, yes, actually they have to. That's part of the licensing in order to do an expansion.
For the liquor license, you mean?
Just for the habitat, we needed to expand the area of operations.
Right.
And so the select board needed to approve that.
But when a business expands, isn't it the planning board's jurisdiction,
Well,
not the select board's? I mean, you're on the planning board, you would know.
I know, and I'll point out the fact, aside from Sasso and Lulu's Farm, they were like, and the Northeast Co-op, North End Co-op, there wasn't any site plan review, so until recently.
Lulu's Barn, Squire Carbuff and.
They've been,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Those are all new ones.
That's reason.
Yeah.
So I can see point about, going through the process of site plan. Because it has some, again, getting a buyers involved and talking about any issues. So I can see that. But we follow the process of the liquor licensing.
But you've changed your business.
We changed our
You
business.
didn't have bands when you got your tap room.
We did, I think that was part of the reference in 2019 as we expanded, to have a tap room.
And the music part of it has to be approved by the fire marshal, because I think if you have music,
Yeah.
even though it's outside, you still have to have a fire marshal.
Yep.
We had, that was actually part of.
But your neighbors didn't have an option to speak about it. Like,
I mean,
we want you to grow and you are growing,
there's certain.
but we want you to do it with consideration. And we want it to be safe and we want it to be done right. We want you to have the right licenses. We want you to have the right insurances. We want you to be safe and protect your business. And as you get more and more people in there, you're gonna find that it's challenging.
We're only open 50 days out of the whole year. So this happening now is really putting a hurt and. You know, but we're just trying to make a living. and
We're
I just-
not saying that you can't operate now. We're going to, if you are willing to focus on some of the issues and put in a revision plan, we are willing to go with a temporary license and work with you. We are not trying to shut you down. We want you to grow, but we want it done right.
But just going through and doing the last site plan and talking about the issue, so again, going through a public hearing, just see what are the complaints, what are the concerns. And get through that, but we really need the temporary license to continue. Because actually, at this point, the restaurant license provides the substantial portion of the income. Brewery.
Okay, so the right step to take. We have a revision plan. You can go on the website and get it,
That's us tomorrow.
submit it,
Not yet.
and we'll move forward.
It's more involved than that.
Well, the site plan, sitting for the,
But it's like playing.
yeah, the site plan, because that's a process that's, short.
Right, that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about if you go through the process of starting or start the process,
Sure.
we'll do what we need to temporarily approve.
Yeah, and we can accept the condition for that temporary license.
Yeah, I don't see that it's a hardship for you. I think it's the right thing to do. We're not closing your business. We're not preventing you from doing business. We want you to grow. We want you to be successful. We want you to be safe. But we have a responsibility too. So that's where we're at. If you're willing to work with us, we're willing to work with you. We can all move forward and come out in the end, I think, better than we all are now.
There's a one-page form that the select board's gonna be considering later. I've been trying to come up with stuff to make site plan review easier for applicants, and we're getting there. I think John sent some stuff around today. So one of the things on their agenda next is a site plan revision form, which is just a one-pager to start. To go to the planning board to start the process, because there's kind of an initial vote that happens. And that one pager should be enough, and then like, yes, when you get into site plan review, there's a checklist and stuff that's more involved, but. Again, I think you've done it before, so you know the ordinance is long, but basically 90% of it doesn't apply most of the time. So it should be.
We documented that, and went through it. It was kind of a good experience, so that, sort of knew how others would have to do it, because most of it is not political.
Right, so I think what the planning board is saying is do the one-page form, not come up with a site plan, just start and then.
Right. Submit the form. We know that your intentions are good and we'll do what we need to
Yeah.
follow through on our end.
And we can attach the brewery license background material, because that gives us a good overview of the operation and the physical layout of the operation as part of what you want to have in site.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing that was originally submitted. The only modification only came in 2019, when we identified really tasting areas, in addition to the brewery manufacturing operations.
Sound good?
Sure.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
So tomorrow, you can get the form, not tonight. Yeah, we haven't approved it yet, but we have, as April said, trying to make things a little bit easier since, I remember Bailey coming and wanting a form and couldn't figure out what to do, so, we now have a form, that hopefully will make everybody's life a little bit easier. So, and I think it's really healthy to go through that process again, especially it's been about 10 years since you've changed a lot. So, be nice to confirm some things and you might find some surprises. I have no idea. Because I'm not part of that process, so. I want to back up and see if you have anything that you wanted to share with, as code enforcement officer, just in general.
Is this citizens issues, or is this more like a code enforcement officer report?
Oh, yeah, well, if you have a citizens issue, go for it, and if not, just a code enforcement. Just
No,
update.
it's good. July was a pretty slow month. It's only a couple of permits that were issued, deck permit over on Westfield Road. And a garage permit down on Clubbox Road. And I actually had an email today from Carolyn Farner.
Mhm.
That's the old house.
Right next to the job.
And he's got some fairly significant concerns about the garage going in because the garage is being built up on a sloped ledge up above the house, and they're gonna have to blast out, plateau to get the elevation correctly. And she's pretty concerned about damage to the murals, the old murals that are in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Said that when the house was being built before, when they had equipment rambling around and when they had the road resurfaced, just that heavy equipment caused some cracking, plaster. So, it's an old stone foundation, so, it's not unforeseeable that could occur. So she wanted to know what we could do with development on property. And, without a blasting ordinance, I mean, it's the only thing that code enforcement can look at as far as filling and earth moving goes is basically soil and erosion control measures. There's some language that addresses the suitability of the soil. And we're talking about ledge, so it's not really a question of suitability. And then there's another issue, contaminate, pollution of water bodies. So I have to look at making sure that proposed activity isn't going to contaminate the water body or change the classification of the water body or something like that. So specifically with regard to blasting, there's not a lot I can do. Although the section S right behind that goes to addresses archaeological structure, archaeological properties or something to that effect. So apparently if there's a property in town that's either listed on the National Historic Register or eligible to be listed on the National Historic Register, then code enforcement can request that the application be sent to I don't remember the new guy's name, but it used to be Earl Shuttleworth, the Historic Preservation Commission for a review. But as far as I'm aware, there's been no effort to have that particular property listed on.
That's a couple of 100 years old, those murals in there.
Yeah, they're about 108 years old.
Yeah.
And actually, the fellow has been there season.
And
Yeah, but some years back.
And I think she bought that place because she loved the murals.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
It's a special place, but
yeah.
as far as the town being able to intervene and say, hold on, we've got to take and make sure, and how do you make sure? If you're gonna blast here, 1,000 feet away, how do you qualify it? It's not gonna risk.
Mhm.
So I responded to her saying, you can get a pre-blast inspection from the blasters and document, whatever existing emissions you have, and if something comes up. And she also mentioned that her well water got cloudy for a period of time, which is fairly common actually when bedrock is blasted, because it looks into loosens up silt and fissures and trickles through, but it usually pulls it up pretty well.
It was an issue, somebody else was talking, I think it was down your way, Meg, where somebody was gonna blast and they were, you know, somebody complained that when they blasted it messed up and, you know, now I have cracks in my basement, but
You know.
Oh, chimney.
yeah, I just, yeah,
The chimney.
yeah. So unless you got it documented before and after, there's really nothing that can be done. And even in the case of with Callie and Bob, if something is ruined there, I mean, it's permanently ruined because, you know, you can't replace, you know, almost 200-year-old murals. Those are pretty special, yeah.
Yeah, it would be a shame if they destroyed them.
So have you talked with Brian Mackey about it?
I just got an email.
Okay.
Home from work today.
Because maybe they could use drill hammers instead of blasting. I know it's more expensive, it takes longer, but it's not as as blasting is.
If she's saying that there was disturbance just based up, just because of heavy equipment going around, I don't think that's gonna make any difference at all. I don't know what the geology is there, I don't know how deep the soil is, yeah, you know, from going from Lake up at Brian's house down to, because it looks like there's some pretty good soil in the field around the corner.
There is, and there's always been a lot of water flow going from the ledge area across that lawn past the cars. So it's fairly permeable, these soils.
If the historic commission got involved, the state historic commission, would they pay for studies or anything?
I doubt it.
Did they do any like enforcement or if it comes to them?
No, I think their involvement is limited to looking through public records and archives and determining whether or not there's anything of state or national significance in the area of the proposed activity, and if there's not, they just like that.
They give you a rubber stamp, okay.
It's kind of like with piers and docks.
Yeah.
It sends it into the five Indian tribes and they look at it and see if they've got any records of the burial ground or anything.
No middens in your book.
No middens, yeah.
That's it. And if not, they just, sometimes they don't even respond.
All right, great. Sorry to hear about that with Callie and Bob, because it is such a, I'm sure they're nervous about it.
I'm sure they are. Yep.
Yeah.
So other than that, there's a couple of pending applications, small ones, a timber walkway up on Main Road, and a shed up on Haskell Road. And there's a fellow that's contemplating the idea of adding an ADU over the garage, but I've given him a few hurdles that he has to clear. So I think he's thinking a little more deeply about it. And other than that, been working with the planning board. We're close to getting a resolution on an after the fact permit for a shoreline erosion control, a shoreline stabilization project down on the east shore that was done without benefit of a permit. It's almost wrapped up. Working on the Tower Pond Towers application, that's progressing somewhat nicely. That's about it. Tomorrow we've got a board, the first in a long time Board of Appeals hearing for an appeal on a driveway, that can't meet, the new driveway standards that were passed last June. That's about it.
Great. Thank you for the update. All right, we'll go back to select board business and we'll start with, or continue with one that, the Coastal Maine Broadband, has offered to give us a laptop for, it's valued as actually over $1,000. And so we'd like to accept that donation if that's okay with everybody else. This is the Coastal Maine Regional Broadband is pleased to partner with the town of Westport Island to upgrade and expand computer equipment for a variety of public purposes. And one of the things we do here is, for example, if somebody's trying to apply for LIHEAP or needs a resume or whatever else, could come here and use a computer that's not here right now. Ashley's working on it to try to
So,
get it so that anybody could use it, because we want it to be for public use, but you can't have private stuff on there. So we're trying to figure out if you have private stuff on there, how can you? She's working on it. There's all sorts of technology involved, so for some reason, it seems like you can't just have private settings and public settings. I don't remember what the issue was, but anyway, so she's talking to folks about that, but I'd like to move that we accept this new computer. It's a Dell 16 laptop. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Second. Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And today is 10th. Thank you. All right, next on our list is the assessor's agent contract. And that basically is the same thing as we've had in the past. They made some changes as to how they want to be billed. And they actually gave, I don't think it's in here. It might just be something that Ashley got. But they have a new process because they've been growing so much about how, I think last year was just $2,000 every month. And this year it's more like based on, because there are needs that are, intense during some times of the year, that it would sort of vary a little bit. But the total for their contract was $30,000 for this year, which we did approve at our town meeting. So I'd like to move that we approve this contract and present it to Josh for his signature. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're working on the paving and the prep contracts. We've let people know that those have been approved. But we have not got the contracts out yet. Okay.
The question is, who ended up getting the contracts?
The paving prep contract went to Griffin. And the paving contract went to Crooker.
Thank you.
Yep. And we have notified everybody. All right, next is several things. It's site plan review forms and guides. And I know April's been working on those just to make sure that we have the process down and that we have forms that people can use, so that if you want to do a site plan review, here's the form, here's the steps to do it. And so that's been work in progress, a lot of work in progress. And so I think what I'd like to do is just, there's a whole packet of, there's a guide for the planning board, the guide for the applicant. So if you're gonna fill out the site plan review, here's what you need to do. There's also a new form, the site plan review form, and then also the site plan revision form, which is what you'll be looking at. So I'd like to move that we just do a blanket accepting of all these, and I'll read through them. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the following site plan review forms and guides. 1, the guide for planning board. 2, the guide for applicants. 3, the pre-application sketch plan form. 4, the site plan review form and fee schedule. 5, the site plan filing form. And 6, the site plan revision form and fee schedule. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your work.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll probably be revising those.
Are they all on the website now, or?
Not yet.
They will be after they've been approved. They
So,
can't be.
approving them tonight.
Well,
Okay,
yeah, don't look for them tonight.
No, I have stuff to do.
Yeah, look for them tomorrow.
So these are a lot of work and have been a long time coming. It's a really tough ordinance. It's hard for people to get through. So initially I was working on it with the planning board and I just couldn't move fast enough because it's hard to have a committee write things. So we're passing these just to like get it done, get something out there, and then I'm sure we can revise them. I'm sure there'll be feedback, but at least
Something to start with.
Start.
Yeah.
It's a good start and people have something to look at.
To me, once you have something in writing, then it's like, oh, okay, now I see this should be this way, this shouldn't be this way. But until you put it in writing, it's hard really to follow.
And luckily, a lot of other towns do this. So, Southport, for example, has very thorough site plan review forms. Their form's 14 pages long. I came in at 11, so I'm pretty proud of that. And most other towns do have forms. We're kind of an outlier to not have anything. There's been some debate about whether we should or not, but I definitely think we should, because it's too hard for normal people to read that ordinance.
And we're gonna encourage people not to submit crayon drawings anymore. I think that should be something from the past. Let's like get into this century and have like real plans and not that there's a hire people to do them, but use a pen or a pencil and
Yeah.
make your corner
More,
square.
yeah, yeah. All right, last on our list, or not quite last. One of the things that we've talked about is doing an electronic and digital signature policy. Other towns have it. And this is more for when there's an emergency or something, for some reason, there's only one of us here, which has happened in the past, right, Jeff? And we have a policy that allows signatures for staff to get paid. But this is a digital signature so that if there are other things that need to be signed, just like, now the bank does it, just about everybody does it. If you have anything valuable, they make you go through all this whole process. So Ashley's been playing with that. But we need a policy in order to move forward with that. Jeff?
So our policy before was based on state policy to allow it. Has the state expanded or is it?
That's a different policy and that has to be renewed every year.
Yeah.
And was already renewed. We did that, I think, a couple weeks ago already.
But is there something at the state level giving you saying what this is what you can do for digital signatures?
Definitions in this policy shall be consistent with 10 MRS 94019420, which is incorporated by this reference as enacted or hereafter amended. So yes, there's got to be something stated. That's all I can tell you about that one. She's been doing the research on that and other towns have it as well. And so we've kind of come up with our own, but basically, whenever possible, there's always at least two of us to sign things. But if for some reason something needs to be signed pretty quickly and only one of us is around or none of us is around, and we need something signed, we can do, with a policy, we can do electronic signatures.
And that was just one of the, as we're working on our forms, to submit, are we at the point where we can do this all digitally?
That's a good question. We're just now thinking about for the staff, for the board. Is that something that could eventually come down the line?
Yeah, we're working on it. So Ashley has been working with the state so that people can pay things online, property taxes, mooring permit fees, that kind of thing. Some of our ordinances say they require signatures, but we're gonna try to work towards figuring out how people can just do that digitally. So we're getting there. Slowly. That's it.
So I'd like to move that we accept Town of Westport Island electronic and digital signature policy. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do you want to sign this digitally?
Sure.
Now do so. All right, last on the agenda that I have is our September meeting schedule. And normally we meet every other Monday. Monday, September 7th is a holiday. So, we're not gonna meet. We're trying to make sure that at least the staff doesn't have to work on a holiday since we've said that we wanted to do that. So I propose that we meet on 9/14 and 9/28. Is that okay with, you two?
It is.
Yes.
Okay. So put that on your calendar. On your schedule, you'll be here on the 14th, but not on the 9th, on the 28th, right? You're leaving on the 19th, yeah.
No, I won't be here. That's the next board meeting because I'll be in Canada.
Right,
But I'll be
right.
here for both these.
There you go. All right. Any questions, comments from anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure what I had as an announcement or was that a citizen's issue, but I.
You were back up in citizens issues and we're past that, so nope, too late.
I didn't put my hand up.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Meg.
This is very quick. Mine was, my first was, regarding the Salt Dogs concert at the Ferry Landing on the 22nd. I've been conferring with Jay Wagner as to the protocol as to how we handle, parking in situations. So she suggested that I use their sign that they put out, and simply change the date on it.
Get this stuff.
Mhm.
And it was
Yeah.
notice to voters that parking lot was closed for a private event, and I put the date on it, and that would be posted somewhere on that sandwich board close to the launch ramp. So I'm just getting your blessing that that would be okay with you.
Yes, and in April, we could do that periodically on the big electronic sign as well.
Yes, let me make a note to I think I'll put it on the electric side tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, because the more people see that, they've been warned ahead of time. And
Okay.
did anybody try to come down and use the landing?
Well, we had somebody come in the morning. But they left before we got going, so we're doing great.
And I saw some of the cars and whatnot parked.
Well, and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Gave us the use of his place, so that worked out.
Yeah, and you might want to talk to Jimmy about that too, Meg, to see about using his place to park cars.
Oh, okay.
Because I did see there were quite a few cars parked there.
A
So
lot of cars parked there. It was great. We had people volunteering to walk.
Maybe April, we could do that in your newsletter. We could ask people to carpool if possible, although they're gonna be bringing picnics and chairs, so that might not be viable.
So we all have big enough cars.
But I don't think the turnout would be quite the size of.
Yeah.
Just, but my second comment, and I was sort of talking to April about this, was I wondered if we could possibly revisit the method by which residents can rent the town hall. And in not the event of a wedding or a private party, but in the event that they wanted to put on an event that would be available to town, like a yoga class, like a painting class, like a bingo, something like that.
Like a contra.
Like a contract, right? You know, there was like comments that people thought that the cost was high and that the insurance was exorbitant, sort of. I'm just wondering if, you know, maybe that was worth a discussion among you, if that's even possible.
I think it's $35.
It's 35 to rent it, but people have to get their event insurance, which runs about 70. And we also have the $100 security deposit, which you get back. after
Right,
the event.
yeah, I don't even consider that $100 because I always feel like unless you trash the place, you get that back.
Yeah,
So the $35 is really to pay for cleaning.
cleaning.
Yeah,
it's
that's,
210 up front, and I think the issue came up because somebody wanted to rent it like periodic, like for a repeating event, once a month or something. So if they had to do that every month, that would be really difficult.
could they get insurance? That
Yeah,
would
they get
insurance
That's what I'm
cover
talking
them?
about, is something a recurring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think that they'd be able to get an insurance that covers them for multiple days that is
Yeah.
not as exorbitant as.
Maybe, yeah,
There's no way they could be under the umbrella of the town insurance.
I don't know. When we did this 3 years ago or so, I think Jeff was still on the board and we went to the lawyers and we looked at the thing. Juliet actually got it started and this was kind of what the lawyers came back with. I mean, we let people use the community room without insurance and stuff. That's a little more lax. So I don't know if there's a way to be a little more flexible. They could always go through a nonprofit, and I've sent some people to Meg because WCA has event insurance, so if they kind of sponsor it, then people can rent the hall, and they have $100 security deposit on file, so somebody could rent it for just 35. Even if they went through the WCA, so that's another option. But
Somebody had a hand raised? No, I thought it was,
Well,
oh, okay.
if you could talk about it amongst yourselves, like for recurring something, I think. And my third comment was, we were, remember we had a playground committee. I don't know, I don't know what happened, but it sort of went its way. But anyway, there's been a lot of renewed interest, and when I was working the polls, I was just shocked at how many young families there are. And it seems like the geographic dynamics have changed on this island, and as how well young kids. So just for fun, there were a couple of us that were walking around the ferry landing, and right sort of behind the building, Jeff, right to the left of it, where you said, I think Jean said that you were gonna tear down those kind of dilapidated little outbuildings that you have, the sheds there.
Right.
And we were just saying, wow, wouldn't this be a great place to put a very simple swing set, slide, something like that? And maybe some picnic tables, just because it's water access, it's lovely, and it's kind of a perfect spot to have play dates, family groups or whatever. But then we got thinking, well, because it's a public property, would that require meeting standards for commercial swings versus something you could buy at Costco? And I guess that would be up to the insurance company, but I'm just bringing it up to bring it up. If, can we?
I agree with you, and in the original discussions of playgrounds, we talked to some of the families that had littles at that time. And they came back and said, no, we don't want it at the ferry landing, it's too close to the water. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, put a fence up. I'm like, I think it's a perfect place for it.
Teach your kids to swim.
I 100%, I agree with you, and like,
Yeah.
a picnic pavilion,
Yeah.
that's the perfect place to be able to do that, so I agree, but
Yeah.
didn't we get shut down big time? Because
Yeah.
Definitely. I was like, I was there constantly during COVID.
that is what they came back and said, we should revisit it.
Yep,
Donna's worked really hard on looking at the 18 acres that we apparently don't own, but we do own, but can't do anything.
I know,
But
but we walked that. And
Yeah.
it was that dangerous curve.
Harvey says, just put the playground there.
yeah, the
Right.
problem is
What
to
do we
be able
do?
to access it. Yeah,
Yeah,
and for
just
those
walk
of you who
it.
don't know, there are 18 acres that supposedly the town owns. We got it through,
Lack of paying taxes.
yeah, lack of paying taxes years and years ago. And evidently, while I was starting to do the work on it, a new law came down. And the new law says that, if you have this piece of property and you've gotten it, that we have to give the owners a chance to buy it back. And we need to try to get a hold of the owners. And if not, we could sell it. But the money that it would go to the state, not to the town. And we thought, this would be perfect, because if nobody wants it, nobody knows anything about it, that it just becomes ours by default. But because it was never taken to the registry of deeds and done what was supposed to happen to it, now, had we done that before the law was passed, we could have taken the property and say it's ours. It is 18 acres that are sitting there that's absolutely beautiful, and we can't touch it. And if we got somebody to buy it back, or if the owners wanted to buy it, we'd have to charge them, what it's been costing for back taxes and stuff. But if we couldn't find the owners and we wanted to do something with it, the money would go to the state. So it was like, if it's worth $100,000 and we decided we want to buy it, this town would have to pay and so
We need an exemption to this legislation.
I know.
Good luck with that.
Had I,
Right.
it's like a year earlier, it would have been okay, but
The other piece of it is, it's right on the really sharp curve
Yeah.
of the S curves.
Yeah.
So Donna.
There's a house there now. There was.
At the bottom of the hill?
Yeah, this is up
Yeah, well,
above
this
that.
is above the hill,
Okay.
as you're heading north, on the
that-
right-hand side where the cliff sort of.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
sharp curve,
Yeah,
all that, and 1 acre of it is Main Yankee. A perfect square
Yeah.
is Main Yankee. They also own the property across the street. That's woods that would take you directly down to the water.
yeah.
It's 1 acre. And again, and Main Yankee would like to give it to us. We just haven't said yes because we prefer them to pay taxes and just hold it and not do anything with it. So there is that 1 acre. But again,
It was narrow.
exactly, it's very narrow. And what do you do with 1 acre? You know, because we talked about being able to put in a kayak there or canoe or something. And that's still something that we could look at because I know Main Yankee would gladly, but I think, do you remember what it was, April? I think it was like $1,000 taxes because it was on the water. So we don't want to give up $1,000 until we know what we would, until we know we could do something with it. But they are definitely interested in giving it up. But we just, until we can do something with it.
Sounds like a job for the conservation commission.
And the
Yeah.
18 acres doesn't have road frontage
Yeah.
along its sideline, it only has road frontage on Main Road, which is unsuitable for a driveway kind of an entrance. So Donna had gone to the folks that own property in the back and like they were pretty amenable to trading an acre of the front 18 for an acre of theirs in the back.
Rumco, yeah.
Yeah, that we could access through there, like that was all moving forward when the law came down that said, oh yeah, you can't do that anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Really?"
So the only reason I gave it up is because there was nothing, you know, I
Yeah.
tried talking to Ashley, said, could we just sort of sneak and use it anyway? And of course, she slapped my hand. So, I was gonna try.
I'm all
If,
about,
if it were readily accessible without having to do any further work, we might be able to just,
Well, the Fairyland just to me was just so perfect because it's maintained beautifully by the
Yeah.
horticulture committee. It's just a lovely site that could be, it's a little underutilized.
Mhm.
But is it, I mean, could we take another poll? I mean, sure, there are some people whose children can't swim and that might be concerned, but I'd like to think that that would be the minority. And there are many more kids here that weren't there before.
I think we should look at it again. I also, maybe there's other opportunities that have come up that we can look at. Like, I don't think this side of the town hall is a terrible place, as long as we're not putting in a huge playground, you know, but the swing set and a slide and something kids can climb up and fall off.
If they wanted, there were people who wanted that strictly as a historical area.
Okay, well,
You know, and
so like everybody's got something, right?
Well,
But
Is
we
it
can,
worth taking a poll
we
or?
can try.
Well, I think the first question, we probably should have Ashley ask the insurance company. And just say, look,
Right,
here's the property,
right.
we're interested in this, is it feasible, what would the insurance cost be, what kind of standard playground we have to get to see if it's even like.
Yeah,
we did look into insurance because the first thing I was told when I started this, one of the first things I did was I was told that we couldn't do this because of insurance. And then I looked around, it's like other towns have public things, so why can't we?
right.
So when we did look at that time, basically they said that you just have to make sure that the equipment you use is in good working shape. You know, if you have a
Right,
tree swing or whatever else, just, you need to make sure
right.
it's safe.
Apparently, the compliant commercial is ASTM F1487.
Okay.
Which is the commercial break.
You know what that protects?
Yeah,
That protects the really big old fat drunk guy
And they said.
that wants to go get on the swing at the
That's
middle of the
right.
nighttime when the
That's
kids aren't around.
Their insurance company may be the one to.
Goes up and over the
So-
pole.
So that's a good place to start, yeah, okay.
yeah, and we can definitely bring it up, and you
Yeah.
can be our nudger to do that. We also, I also had talked to Kelp folks because the property, the Segerstrom property, I thought would be a perfect place. You know, we've had the Halloween thing, that was
Right,
perfect, the
right.
big open space that's there. And Kelp said, no, we don't
Yeah,
want.
they told me that at the town meeting too, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, that would have been perfect because it's got that big open space.
Yeah.
You've got parking lot already. But Kelt said no. So, the places that we do have, don't seem to be, and if you know anybody who's just willing to give away 10 acres would be great. Any of you guys.
Yeah.
even 5 acres would do.
Even an acre.
An acre would do, okay, but
Protect
yeah.
the playground. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to
so,
be-
so it's not that well, we had to give up at least on the 18 acres, but, I also had talked at one time to, Davies Allen. And, he told me flat out that, that his property, where he used to, the
shop?
yeah, the shop, yeah. That would not be a good place for kids because when he bought it knowing that there were probably issues years ago, there was probably gasoline and those kind of things there. So he knew it wouldn't be a good place for kids. But actually since then, I have tried to contact, and I did have a brief conversation with one of the sons. And I said, if you're ever thinking about selling this, come talk to us.
But I wrote them the same thing.
Good, good, because there's a nice building there that could be used for something, so we haven't closed that one down yet, and my hope is that when they get ready to move, and it's like, who wants this place? Nobody. Could have some chemicals and stuff in the ground, so,
Well, built up immunities to them.
right, if we're still alive today.
You know what I wish we had is like a free store or like a thrift store where people, because people are always trying to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
On the Facebook page, if we just had a nice little building where we could accept donations and either give them away or sell them for a small amount or something. That would be nice.
Would be nice.
A true community building.
We do have
Westport
a
Mall.
little bit of
The mall.
down in the
That's
ferry.
where the garage sales happen every year.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
anyway.
I think the traffic decrease going to the dump.
Yeah,
We had the Westport
Exactly.
Mall, everybody would bring their stuff in.
That's right, right. Well.
So Meg, we'll revisit that again, you know, I do think it's important, I just think it's important to have a place where kids can come, and I don't see high-class equipment, I see like, you know,
A skitter tire up on its side, buried.
Yeah,
and play
yeah.
on it.
or something to
Like
run
the
around,
robots.
or,
They can
Yeah,
build
little
with-
big, look like the dream catchers.
Yeah.
You know, or, too.
yeah, something where they can just run around and, you know, some big logs or something, but even those cost a lot of money.
And mom, and mom and dad, you know.
We do have quite a few that are actually right up against the, there's a huge log that's been there forever. You must see it out the window there. So yeah, if we could haul those in, maybe, yeah. So let's not,
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun if, you know, if we could get something small started and then add to it. I mean, we could have an area like a balance log for old people.
Did you say that you wanted to be the chair of a recreation committee? I think that's what I heard you say.
Oh, wait, oh my God, you're being recorded. Oh my God. Hello.
and Charlotte is taking notes.
Oh, boy, okay.
You're in it now, girl.
I would certainly consider.
Well, we'll definitely, keep that in mind. Thank you for
Okay.
bringing it up again, because it was one of my commitments, sort of the first time I ran, and it's like, darn it, I want to get this done, and, I feel bad that,
Hello. So,
Poor Donna did so much work on the 18 acres.
yeah,
Negotiating that, and she was so close, and it was so
yeah,
close.
yeah.
Her spirit was just.
Yeah, 'cause we had contacted
Yeah.
Ron Cove, they were willing to switch an acre for an acre, and I talked to Davies Allen, and he showed us where we could go to, you know, get up to it, because you have to cut into the road, and it can't be at the around where the curve is, or where
Right.
the hill is, so it had to be up further, so that's why we needed that extra acre to get up there and talk to Jim. Jim and I had posted things along the road about where the best place was, and did a lot of work. And then found out that basically the law said that, even though it's supposedly the town's, it's not the town's. And so we can't do what we want to with it, so it just sits there forever.
Well, we can let people know it's there and people can. Yeah, but I mean, it's not trespassing if we're like, go ahead.
That's true.
Yeah, the problem is you can't park anywhere near there to say, I'm gonna take my kids up there and run around, because there is no parking space.
Yeah.
Now, you can't pull off to the side of the road. I mean, Jim and I would do it, but kind of nervous because there's that curve and there's the hill. So, so you can't have just a bunch of people saying, oh, we'll go up there and, have some fun. So we'll keep looking at it. So thank you, Meg, for bringing that up. All right, any other things? Nope. All right. So I'd like to make a motion that we call it a night. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
April, are you on? Do you know that Paul's on?
Oh, I'm not, Paul Kuchner?
Yeah.
Okay, good, I just emailed him, Paul, your permit. The select board voted to approve, it goes to the planning board next month.
Yes.
Wednesday.
I think you came in after we approved it, Paul, but we did approve it. All right. Good night, folks.
Night, Charlotte.
Good night.
Night, Sharon.
I need to try.
Night, Jim.
Good night.
Night, Sharon.